Alrighty, good morning again. Good afternoon, everyone. How are you doing? I think you can see me okay, hear me all right. Good to be back again. It is the 14th of November. In today's session, we'll look into the Aussie unemployment rate stays at 4.1%. It was just released this morning. Last night, we saw the US CPI year on year increasing slightly to a 2.6%, but we're still seeing that dollar strength continue now right up to that 106.50 level. So looks like dollar strength to continue, but we'll talk more about that during this session. But first, okay. Good morning, Christina. How are you doing? Hope you're awesome, doing awesome. Hey, Sunil. Nice and early this time. Hope you're well. Hey, Magas, good to see you. Thank you for joining every day. Magas, if you haven't already, make sure you join the Elite Navigator because that's where we're moving towards, right? From next week onwards, I'll say this once or twice for during this session because we're coming very close to it. But for next week onwards, the live market analysis or the daily market analysis will be on only available to the Elite Navigator members. All right. So if you haven't already, anyone else watching, if you haven't already, the link will be or is there for you guys. Do make sure you join. All right. Let me see. Everything seems to be working fine. Yes. Okay. If you're on the session, do remember to drop a message and say hi. Let me know where you're joining us from. If you have any questions at any point in time, please feel free to put it into the chat and let me know. And you can help me out massively by remembering to click on that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. All right. Let's see. Okay. Sorry, I've just been doing a lot of recordings today, so it's a bit drained, bit tired. But markets are doing very well. Gold is still dropping. I had a take profit on the euro. We've seen the gold continue dropping lower, and also take profit on the Kiwi dollar to the downside. So, how have you been trading? How have you been trading? Put it into the chat and let me know. Good morning, Rita. Hope you are doing well. Thanks for joining us on the session. Um, yeah, I just thought of having a bit of a chat today. Okay, now looking at the news. We're here looking at the news. Yesterday, what happened yesterday? We had the US CPI number. All right, it was a 2.4. It was expected 2.6. It came out pretty much as expected. Right, came out pretty much as expected. The dollar, you see, yesterday at where are we? Hang on. Yesterday, no, today is Thursday, so we're looking at Wednesday. Where am I? Okay, at 8 p.m. No, it was at 9:30. That one there. All right. So I'll move on before just to show you the candle. So the dollar started at 9 o'clock, 105.92. On release of the CPI, it dropped briefly down to 105.71 before pushing back up as high as 105.99, closing off at 105.83. That was the impact of the news. Like I was telling you all yesterday, didn't expect too much because from that CPI number, still a little bit too early to focus on that CPI number. So didn't do too much in terms of price volatility, but after that, from 10 onwards, we did see the dollar continue its rise. It's been pushing up. It continued pushing up from 105.83 up within the 10 o'clock hour and ended the night at 106.50, pretty much as we had expected for it to continue higher to 106.50 before consolidating. It consolidated there this morning, started pushing up or continued pushing up, now resting along that 106.67 level, right? So that's what's happened on the dollar. Um, I wouldn't say as a result of the CPI number, but um, as a result, it's pushing up as a result of the previous trend, not so much the CPI number. This morning, we saw the Aussie unemployment rate staying at 4.1%. Right, unemployment rate for the Aussies staying at 4.1%, while employment change slowed down a lot more than expected. Right, it was a 64.1, got revised to 61.3, expected at 25.2, got released at a 15.9. Right, so a slowdown on the employment change. For the Aussies, we did see the Aussie dollar trade to the downside, driven by the employment numbers, the employment change number, and also the strength on the dollar, so pushing it to the downside. With that, what else do we have to look out for today? We have a couple of euro numbers to be released. I'm not too fast about that. Tonight, we do have the US PPI, Producer Price Index. So we had CPI yesterday, Consumer Price Index. Today, we've got PPI, the Producer Price Index. It was, or it's currently at 0, is expected, similar to the CPI, to increase slightly to a 0.2%. Right, so PPI looking to go up slightly as well to a 0.2%, while core PPI, again, core PPI excludes food and energy, 0.2 to a 0.3, a small increase expected as well. Okay, so that's what we're looking out for today. Later on, I'm not going to stay up for this. At 3, 4, and 5 a.m. GMT plus 8, we have President Lagarde from the ECB speaking. At 4 a.m., we have Chair Powell speaking. At 5 a.m., I'll be deep asleep. We have Governor Bailey from the BOE speaking. This ECB President Lagarde is at the, I don't know what that word is, Sovereignty Award ceremony in Paris. It's an award ceremony. I don't think she's going to say anything about policy. I'm not too bothered about that. Chair Powell is at a panel discussion on global perspectives at an event hosted by the Fed Reserve of Dallas. Could, because there are some questions expected, it could bring about some volatility. I don't think he's going to say too much. It's still a little bit early. He's still kind of in that decision point of, is he going to stay as chair, right? So I think that's the likely question that's going to come up on his position as chair. I don't think it's going to do too much in terms of the dollar index. It's still on the upward move, while Governor Bailey is due to speak at Mansion House dinner in London. They're all out and about, but I don't think they're going to do too much for their respective currency pairs at these three events. Okay, through to tomorrow, we have pound GDP number to be released at 3 p.m. That's during our live stream tomorrow. That's not going to change too much on GDP. While US retail sales number is going to be released tomorrow night, Friday night. Retail sales number looking like it's going to slow down a little bit, but it's going to be odd. It's odd that it's going to slow down a little bit considering we're in the November period. We're heading towards Christmas. We're heading towards buying presents, right? So might see an upset there. Might see an upset there. Okay. So in terms of news, nothing super exciting. Oh shit! Nothing super exciting at this point, but it's good that we're seeing um, markets trending very strongly for now. Okay. Um, before I get into the charts, good morning, Noah Chuku. How are you doing? Hope you're well. Hey, Angel Case. Good to see you. Hey, Edwin. Good morning. Hey, Infotainment Hub. How you doing? Hey, Edson. Welcome to the session. A lot of you are already Elite Navigator members. So if those of you who haven't joined us as an Elite Navigator, the link is there for you guys. Do make sure you join if you haven't already. All right. Now, let me see what we're doing. Okay. Dollar index. Straightforward. Let's go. Let's look at the dollar index. It's done that. It's pushed up. It's consolidated. And we're looking for it to push up higher. So it's pretty much running as we had expected. Continue dragging this up. 106.50 was a resistance. I would say it is now a support. Okay. What am I doing? Why is it not? Okay. Now, dollar index. Today is the 14th of November. We got that. It's sitting right across at 106.70. My first thought when I looked at it this morning is that the dollar had been climbing very strongly, right? The dollar had been pushing up very strongly since the election, right? Since the election, we've seen it push up all the way. Now, at this point, I'm a bit cold. At this point, I'm thinking that, or rather, I was thinking that we should see a bit of a retrace, right? We should see a bit of a retrace or stronger retrace on the dollar. And given that we see a bit of a rejection here, right? I see at the 1 o'clock, so 2 hours ago, we see a bit of a rejection. I thought that we're going to see that deeper retrace back down. I would still like to see a retrace, but I think that at best, what we're possibly going to see is that best to see a retrace before a push up towards 106.90 and possibly up towards 107.25. But if it continues up all the way, right? Remember, we started the week right here. We started the week right here. And since we started the week, we started at 105. It's pushed all the way up to 106.70 right now. It's retraced once, slightly. So I'm thinking that at some point, there does need to be a bit of a stronger retrace. Ooh. Once I start talking, I start yawning. Sorry about that. I don't need a lot of these lines. Let's take all that away. right? We don't even need that. Take that away. That's all. That's going to be there. Okay. And so I'm looking at this. I'm even thinking of that to move up. Right. Okay. So here we are. Dollar index. It's consolidating. It needs to retrace. I would like to see a retrace, but it needs to stay above 106.50. Okay, so dollar index could retrace, but need to stay above 106.50 to continue higher. To higher to, let me think. I'm just thinking, okay, why I'm pausing is I'm just thinking whether 106.90 is going to be a factor or whether it could go straight up. Um, it could. 106.90 does have a level about that point. I think it'll be very brief, right? I think it'll be brief. So back up to this again. Bollinger is fine. MACD, TSRI, MACD looks like it might retrace slightly. Okay. So now I'm looking at this. So I'll be thinking that dollar could retrace, needs to stay above 106.50 to push up higher to the 107.25 resistance. Okay, there we go. Don't even need that anymore. It looks good. Okay, so that's what I'm looking out for on that push up. So that would fit quite nicely as well. You got that trend line there. So bottom, yes. That could be that. And push up. Yes, so I'm looking for it to retrace and bounce. Okay, good. Does that make sense? Put into the chat, let me know. So now with that expectation, it might even retrace a little bit more before pushing back up. Okay, so now still thinking of dollar strength. Yes, there might be a bit of a retrace, but looking for overall dollar strength, we look into firstly the Kiwi dollar. All right, Kiwi dollar. Yesterday we were saying sell at 5905 20 to 45. It did very well there. 5905 sold down 45 pips, take profit, done. I got in a little bit earlier on that, right after our session yesterday. Right after our session yesterday, I pretty much got in, and I think that point there. I was anticipating a bit of a push down, so just took a bit of a risk. Took the Kiwi dollar to the downside. Did you get onto that trade? Put it into the chat and let me know. All right. So now at this point here, all right, dollar consolidating, possibly retracing before looking for that strength. Again, I don't need any of this. I don't need that. That's done. We take that one away. Okay, we'll have all that there first. Now it's at a 5860 support level. Relatively strong. Okay, I'll show you in an H4 time frame. So it's down at this point where it has bounced On the 5th of August, it bounced on the 29th of July, again in April, again in November last year. When it broke down from this point, you see when it broke down from this point, it came down to the next support level down here at 5780. And beyond that, we got a big support here at 55. That's 5550. That's a long time ago, which was back in October 2022. So now back to the H1 time frame. Looking at the Kiwi dollar, zooming right in, it's sitting there. What I'm looking for is a retrace because dollar is consolidating, retracing, and then pushing. So I'm looking for this to possibly consolidate, retrace slightly before pushing back down again. Not looking to buy it up. All right, I'm not looking to buy it up. Whatever it does up here is, let me see, whatever it does up here, I'll let it do. I'm only looking for it to come down to break that support. Then I would be looking to sell it down 5850. 5850, stop loss no more than 20 pips. Take profit right down about 70 to the downside. Okay, so 5850. Stop loss 20, take profit 70 to the downside. That's sitting there, that's fine. That's sitting, look for it to either do that or just break straight down, but 5850, 20 to 70 to the downside on the Kiwi dollar. Then on the Aussie, it's moving slowly. All right, we saw it drop, we saw it bounce, we saw it break, we saw it 6.5. When it broke 0.65, it's pushing down. If you got into that, you would have a good 40 something pip move to the downside. Now, at this point, it's right in the middle. You don't want to do anything there. I think that one's fine. We can take that away. No, we don't want to take that away. Put that back. Let me see. Push. I don't need this anymore. Take that away. That's fine. And that one will stay there. Hey, Stefan, how are you doing? Good morning. Okay. What you should notice, right? We've looked at the Kiwi, we're looking at the Aussie dollar now, is that we're at a very low point. We're at a very low point right now. Not the lowest of the low. There is still some space to go, but we've seen very relatively violent reactions of this support level, right? Firstly, of the support on Kiwi, we've seen some reactions here on the Aussie as well. So it's going to be a time to be a bit careful as well. Okay, if you're not in the trade already, I would say that I think it's going to go down lower, but I want to see a reaction at this support level here at 0.64, right? At 0.64. If it breaks, then we've got a downside, but I'm not ruling out a possible bounce as well. So look for the reaction. Following the trend, you're looking at 6380, 20, 30 pip to a 80 pip move to the downside. We'll do that. Nothing for now. You could trade it down. You could do quick scalps to the downside, but we look for it to break the support and then to trade down. Okay, 6380. Sell at 0.6380. Stop loss 30. Take profit 80 to the downside. Infotainment Hub. I've just put in that link again. Let me know if you see it. I don't know. If you don't see it, I don't know what's happening. But yeah, it's there. Okay. Could you sell this before? There is a good 50 down. You could do short-term trades at the downside, or you'll be looking at firstly the Kiwi down, then after that look at the Aussie down. That's how I would stagger the two trade setups. With that, then onto the pound dollar, right? Pound dollar running again. I cannot stress this enough. We've seen big reactions here at 1.2620. There is further downside to go, but I'm just watching out for that support level. Thanks, Noachuku. So pound dollar, it should be, if you're in that trade already, you should do this to break even or secure some profits and then let it ride down. If you're not already in this trade, then an immediate quick one would be 1.2670. Stop loss would be no more than 30. Take profit would be 50 to the downside. You could even do 25. Click on the link. Let me see. Actually, I don't even know. Let me try it out. So if you click on the link, then that would come up. Don't listen. Yeah. Then you click on Elite Navigator and then you click Join. I don't know why it says Singapore dollars, but it's about 9 US. Okay. Now I've lost myself. Where am I? Okay. Do that. Yes. 1.2670, 25 to 50. Okay. We'll do that one. Sell at 1.2670, 25 to 50. 1.2670, stop loss 25, take profit 50 to the downside. Okay, then so that's sitting across. Look for the push down. Pound, no particular news. You have two there, that's fine. Then onto the euro dollar, still trading down, pushing lower, consolidating, sitting right there at the moment. Okay, take that away. So I did a euro trade to the downside as it pushed down. Had a quick take profit on that. And then now as it pushed lower, looking, I want to kind of see it retrace. Right, again, very low point. Bollinger is fine. H4, it's found some levels here. Right, it's found some levels here. If it breaks, we could see more downside. So go back to the H1. We don't need that, or that, or that. Okay. So what I'm looking for here then would be a consolidate. So this is where the risk is, right? we did well for this week looking at dollar strength trading, following the dollar strength, dollar strength. Um, at some point, I am anticipating a good bounce and a good correction, but I don't see it yet. I don't see it yet. Right, so just be careful of a possible bounce before, a possible bounce and some reaction. But what I'm looking for would be a bit of a consolidation, but looking for that breakdown, then I'll be looking for 1.0520. Stop loss would be 20. Take profit could be 70 to the downside. That's what we look out for. Right? Consolidate, possibly retrace. And it sounds like I'm saying the same thing over and over again. Consolidate, retrace, push back down. 1.0520. We put that in first. 1.0520. 20 to 70. 20 to, what am I doing? There we go. 20 to 70 to the downside. Hey Ted, how are you doing? A little bit late, but better late than never. Good to see you. That's fine. Retrace, push back down. Yes. Needs to stay below 1.06. Nice round number. Okay. Awesome. Good to know, Ted. Yeah, so I'm just looking at that, retracing before pushing back down again. And doing fantastic here. Trades are running well. Nothing to complain about. Let me see. I'm just trying to think of how much could it retrace by. Um, yeah, about in this area, I wouldn't. I think that it could retrace. It could come back up to this point before turning back down. I wouldn't sell at this point for me. I'll look for it to break and then sell it down. Okay, that was straightforward. Sorry, I had to drag it on a little bit. Then on to the yen. US yen did very well, right? I had my take profit hit. Totally forgot about that trade as well. I entered the trade, left it, and then it just hit my take profit this morning. What was my trade? I can't remember now. US yen closed out at 155.82. So it just closed out this morning, 155.82. Done that. Now on the US yen, that's done. I don't need that. Take that away. Trending up, yes. Dotted lines there, don't need that. That's a odd place to have a resistance. Take that away. I'll change this here as my support now. Okay, so that's up. That's up. That's retracing back into the Bollinger slightly. Good. So now what we want to see here on the US yen would be for it to come back down, to test this 23.6 level, to test that trend line. Pretty much what happened yesterday. All right. Come back down, test, and then push back up. or test anywhere in this whole point and push back up, I would like to see that retrace come around. So I could even be looking at 155.70 on a test and a bounce. Stop loss, you'll be looking at 50 pip, 50 to 100 to 200. I don't see 200 pips. I don't see 190 up. I'm actually possibly going to be more tempted to do that. Right? So to look for it to break, look for it to bounce. My favorite way of looking at it is bounce. Do whatever it does. Let it break above that previous high. 156.35. Stop loss will be about 40 pips. Take profit will be 120 to the upside. I like that a lot more. I like that a lot more. So 156.35, 40 to 120. 156.35, stop loss 40, take profit 120 to the upside. Retracing. Look at that retrace, the dollar index retracing. Hence, we're seeing the US yen pulling back as well. So that's all doing well. Yes. Then onto the euro yen. Right? Then onto the euro yen, and it's been stuck in that range. It pushed down, tested that 163.53 level, bounced back up, tested that 164.57 level. Now looking like it's going to push back down. Look, the euro is sitting there, the yen is retracing, hence the euro yen seems to be pulling back in again. The two setups that we're looking for is still there, is still waiting, because this is within the range. Keep that idea. I would still keep this idea, stretch it across 164.80 maybe. Stop loss 30, take profit 130, and then this one right across 163.25, 40, and 125. I think that's good. We'll still keep within this range. Okay. Then on to then I think onto that is onto the pound yen. Hang on a second. Pound yen, didn't see it push, but pound dollar sitting there. US yen retracing is the same thing. Looking for it to retrace. I think it might not drop as much. I think we're a bit too optimistic, thinking that it could come down to the support. Maybe it will just come down to this point here and bounce. All right. Hey, microdollar. Yes, we can look at EuroCAD. Not a problem. So you might even be thinking of 197. 197. Stop loss would be about 35, 40, about 40. Take profit, you would have 90 or 100 up, because it's been in that range. So you could be looking for that. It could even get up to 120 to the upside. Right? So that's what you're looking for on the pound yen. Push down, bounce off this level, has bounced off on the 9th, on the 12th, the 13th, the 13th, and then now we're looking for it to bounce off, push back up. Easy, easy. Then on to the US Swiss franc, pushed up. It is a trade that should be running. I didn't get into this as usual. This is a trade that should be running to the upside. Now, at this point, don't need that. That's holding. That's there. That's up. 23. Too many lines. Too many lines. Let's take away some. No, let's take away some of this first. Okay, don't need that for now. So this is why, again, it's a bit of a habit where you want to clear out some lines because when you have too many lines, you just can confuse, right? So you have that. That's a resistance turned support. Pushing up. Yes, good. So now, again, with the dollar retracing, what we'll be looking for on the US Swiss franc is a retrace and a push to the up. Oop. What am I doing? A retrace and a push to the upside. Retrace and a push to the upside that way. Okay, so sit there, bounce off. Maybe if the dollar index retraces and pushes up, maybe what you could be looking out for is to buy on the bounce. Bit adventurous there, and look, that's the 23.6 level. So we look for it to bounce off that trend line and that fib level. You could be looking at 8858, 8860. Stop loss would be 25. Take profit would be up to about 60 pips that way. More likely, I think that it could sit across and just push up, but I would like to, it would be best if you can see that retrace and then a bounce up. Okay, so 8860, 25 to 60. Buy at 8860, stop loss 25, take profit 60 to the upside. While the US CAD finally it's pushed up, would have had a trade there very late, possibly not even because we were looking at this for yesterday. Only this morning it broke up. But what you're looking at here is it's pushed up, it's retracing now. Let it come back in. Maybe we could come back into this range, and as a totally counter trend idea is for it to push back down. Right? It's for it to come all the way back down. I should take that away. In this area, I don't need this now. All right, come back into this area and we'll try and possibly think of possible break to the downside. This is a total counter trend. This is if we don't see the dollar retrace and bounce, we see it come all the way down, then you might be looking at 1.3910. Stop loss will be tight at 20. Take profit will be down 80 pips to the downside that way, 90 pips to the downside, or 100, no, 80 that way. Totally counter trend idea. I would even do 30 on this actually. I think that would be more reasonable. So it's a total counter trend idea on the US CAD. I would say that this is a counter trend sell 1. 3910. Yes, 30 to 80. Stop loss 30, take profit 80, counter trend. Okay. Looking for that to come back down. So one of my new favorites is gold. We were looking at it consolidating along 2605 to break 2590 to get down to 2570. What has it done? It consolidated and it broke right down from 25. Oops, zoom in a bit. Okay. It broke last night, right? So it retraced and it broke last night all the way down, and it's now just tested this hour, just tested 2550, and it's holding right there now. Okay, so again, we have many lines. I don't need so many. Take all that away. It's all been broken. It's pushed down. That's done. That one is done as well. Okay, so now we have it here. That's my resistance now. Gold sitting just above 2550. We were talking about this in the Discord channel, where if it breaks 2550, we could see it trade quite a bit lower down to, I was highlighting that 2500 level. There. I was highlighting that 2500 level, and then the big support here, the overlap support here at 2471. Okay, so that's what I'm looking out for. I do anticipate a little bit of a retrace before continuation down. Wouldn't do anything on gold unless I wouldn't buy it back up, but unless it breaks 2550, then we look for it to get down to 2500. That's a big one. That's a big one, worth waiting and looking out for. Look to break 2550 to trade down to 2500. Okay, I've got 2 requests for EuroCAD, so we'll do that. We'll do that right now. Okay, EuroCAD. What's happening on EuroCAD? I've got 2 requests on that. Euro dollar sitting right there, looking like it might retrace before pushing back down again. The trend is to the downside, right? So euro dollar, I'm thinking that it's got that downward push. Then on the CAD, we've talked about that, possibly CAD with some strength coming back in, or dollar to lose some ground. So on the Euro CAD, that level, let's clear out everything. Okay, on the Euro CAD, we know for sure that's a good resistance. A bit far away. That's a big support down there. In the middle, we have a bit of a point here. And beyond that, that's fine. Move across. That's the point here. That's my support. My resistance is up here. Yes. Okay. So what we're looking at on the Euro CAD is if the euro dollar does continue to push lower, then we're going to see the euro dollar weaken to push back down. CAD possibly pushing back down. Wouldn't do anything on the euro CAD now. It's currently at 1.4770, needs to break 1.47 3.30. Before, I would possibly be looking not at pair trade, but if I were to trade this, 1.4715. Stop loss would be about 30. Take profit would be down to that support at 120 to the downside. Right? So it just needs to break this point to push to the downside. Yeah, straightforward. There we have it. There we have it. Let me know what you think. Again, please remember, click that like and subscribe button. If you haven't already, again, the link is there. Tomorrow is going to be the last one. After tomorrow, the daily market analysis will be on for Elite Navigators members. All right. Please trade well, trade safe. Thank you, Stefan. Appreciate all of you joining me. Take care now. Bye bye.